Good evening, investors. Welcome. Let's get straight here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Oh, it's going to say, yeah, I didn't change my name again. It is me, Dustin. Hopefully everybody's doing all right today. Let's put this here. Should be able to see the screen, correct? Yeah. Good evening. Welcome. All right, so hopefully everybody's doing okay out there. We have some things to review and update today. We have a few things to go over, a couple questions to answer, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask at any time. And let's get started. On the screen there, you should be able to see on the bottom some tan charts. We show the daily and the weekly chart of the market. I'm going to pull up a tool real quick here to draw so we can see anything. All right. Now, you notice in the Monday letter that we sent out there yesterday, we talked about we got our first bounce, right? And now what happens is you get all these pullbacks inside of the overall bounce. And so we said, well, you have to be real patient during those bounces and not try to add too much. Don't try to pick up too much. Just a couple things on each bounce to build a nice portfolio. Think about going back to June. Remember when we started on this bounce, and I'll go over it real quick. Remember, the reason we started going long the market was because all three strategies were triggering at the same spot. Remember? Oops. It's not that there. You have your Fibonacci players back into June. This is just talking about the market. Right here, you have price support. Let's pick a nice dark color. Price support back here. All right. So we have Fibonacci, price support, and we had our indicator players. So the top market strategies were triggering all at the same time. So remember, we didn't just dive in. We said, okay, we'll get a couple things here. We'll get a little pullback, a little calm. We'll get a couple more things. We got our breakout, or we added to our gold positions on that move there. We get the next move, and as we get into resistance, remember these weeks we take our profits. Remember, we start reducing risk. Even though the market's moving up, you reduce your risk. Don't reduce your risk on the way down. Always reduce on the way up. Okay, you're never going to catch the top or the bottom. So don't try to kill yourself trying to guess the top or bottom. So as we see moves up higher and higher, we start reducing our risk, and mainly, hopefully start hitting targets and stuff along the way. Then when the market starts pulling back, your stops are tighter, your risk has been reduced. And remember, at that point, we decided that should the market fall all the way back down and everything just go horribly wrong, we were going to walk away with 6% on the entire portfolio if we were to get stopped out of everything. So now that we have the same situation happening again, just remember it's not going to be green bar, green bar, green bar all the way up here. You have your balance. You have, something will come up. Maybe they'll start talking about the fiscal cliff thing again, and that'll worry people. You got a little pullback. All of a sudden, something will happen with Christmas, and they'll say everybody's shopping like crazy, and then we'll get some moves there. That'll be fine when the volume dries up. And then same thing, going into the new year, that fiscal thingy probably expire. I think it's going to expire and just go into next year. And then so we'll pull back again, and then something will happen. They'll come up with a new plan, and you get the point. So as you get the pullbacks, we're going to watch them. As long as we're getting decent, calm pullbacks, lower volume, we'll add to our positions, and we'll find some new positions. Now, the reason I bring that up, let me clear this out of the way. There we go. The reason I bring it up is because where the market is at currently. We've had a great run through the holiday week, and as you can see, I'll use this line here. We're in the midst of, a lot of people follow these things. We're in the midst of the pulling up to the upper end of this recent downtrend. So for the people that just took the short-term profits, or the people that bought long here and said, oh my gosh, I just want to get out. If we ever get back to this point, I'm going to get out. Well, they're going to start selling. You're going to have your short-term profits targets starting to get hit. For the people that bought down here, they're going to start taking some profits. And so we should see a little bit of a pullback. We actually like that sort of thing. And the reason why is because we will start to see more logo plays set up. We're already kind of zoomed into the sectors that we want to be looking at, and we see the symbols in the sectors that we want to be looking at. What we'll do now is go into a few other sectors, have a couple symbols on our watch list, and we'll wait for logo plays. Okay. Now as the market pulls back, again, we'll get this little pullback, maybe a little bounce, another pullback, whatever, until we eventually get up and over the high. Sorry about that. Your own mother doesn't know when it's when I'm teaching a class. All right, and so we'll watch that. Now, if tomorrow or Friday or something we gap over this trend line, just know that there'll be a lot of people that are short that'll be forced to cover, and so you'll see a good day in there, and that's okay. That'd actually be great for us. So, best case scenario. Check this out here. I'm going to go to the line chart. Now, don't look at the blue. The market is the maroon color on the line. So best case scenario, what we're going to see is maybe a pullback for a day or two, okay? A little exciting day or a couple quiet days, another pullback, and then when we trade and get our logo play on the market, we'll be breaking that downtrend. See, it's a little sloppy because this is the closing price here. We'll break the downtrend and we'll know, hey, we have a couple logo plays we can take a look at, or we'll have ways to add to our existing positions. All right? So a little patience there. Try not to get too carried away and think the market's headed higher. Give it a few days to pull back here, and let's see if we get a lot of selling or if it just kind of floats around and people, I don't know, some news might come out or something. If you notice, it always happens. I mean, every pullback, there's always some news to bring us down. There's always some news to bring us up. We're really, the market's kind of in that environment and has been for some time now, where we don't get any decent moves unless there's some kind of news. So now, well, like for today, for instance, the afternoon sell-off with that was it Harry Reid said he wasn't happy about the talks that the government was having, so the market sold off. Yeah, I know. I'm not here to get into politics, but we'll see how it affects the market. Okay, some updates to our existing portfolio. If you are brand new, look at your top right hand of this portion of the screen that I'm sharing, and you will see our open portfolio at the moment. Up at the top, we have it says long T, that stands for long term, and you'll see short T, that's short term. We have two targets that we aim for. We have short-term targets and long-term targets. So any positions, yeah, you got it. So any positions that we're still waiting on short-term targets to be hit will be right here. When we do hit those targets, we take off 3/4 of our position, and we hold the remaining 1/4 of the position for the long-term target. So any symbols that you see up here have now hit our short-term targets, and we only have 1/4 of our existing or our original position on, and we're just waiting to hit kind of the fun, ridiculous target. All right. Now we have a new one that was added to the list there today, which is CREE, C-R-E-E. This one it's had a pretty good run. Hasn't taken too long to get it to its first target. Remember that $33 was our 3/4 target on that, and we hit that today. I finished the day at 33.01. So we get about 11, almost 12% on the first 3/4 of the position, and now we're going to leave the remaining quarter to shoot for $41.90. Now we're going to adjust that as we go. If we feel like we can do better, we will adjust it. Now the only thing that happens from here, I'll show you the list. Here's my spreadsheet. Oop. Pull in the spreadsheet here for you because I'll show you how we do this. I put it in the letter. There you go. See it? Yeah, so this was in the letter. And what we do is, like today, we hit our target, so it goes to dark green. We strike it through. We've already hit our first target. This is our ultimate target. Okay, and this is the last price as of 15 minutes after the market closed. This is how we're doing on those open positions. Now what we'll do let's take CREE for example. Going forward, we won't adjust the target price. If anything, we'll move it higher. We never really move it lower, because if you think about it, why do you set a target? You believe that that stock's going to get to that point, right? Well, when you first buy the stock, of course you're optimistic. You believe the stock's going to go well beyond the first target. well beyond the second target. So you're unemotional about it. You're looking at the chart and basing your decision on any really strategy that you want to use to believe that it's going to hit that target. If you ever lower your target, something went wrong, right? You believe that all of a sudden you're not going to make it there. You'll all of a sudden become emotional. If you raise your target, think about what kind of a position you're in. You're in a position of minimal risk or non-existent risk, right? So we will raise our target, but we're never going to lower it, so you don't have to worry about that. This number that you see here, we'll either hit it or we'll ultimately, maybe the stock falls apart and we'll come down and stop out. Now going forward, on Mondays are the days that we raise our stops. First of the week, we take a look at all our symbols before the market gets going. We'll raise our stops. This week, we raised our stops on these, and so you see the light red box there. Hopefully you can see that. So we've reduced risk on all these plays. So going into next Monday, that gives time for CREE to do what it's going to do here. We'll re-look at it then Sunday night, Monday morning, and we'll probably adjust this stop to see if we can risk less to shoot for the bigger target. So something like this BTU, right? We're guaranteed to make a profit now. Our stop has slowly been risen? We've raised our stop slowly over the past couple months. We hit our first target, and now we're just shooting for the ridiculous target. We were very quick to get our risk to a point where we profit because we realize that's a sector that not everybody really likes right now. So we'll constantly raise the stop. GIS is doing very well. We'll keep raising that stop to see what we can get on the last quarter. We already hit our target before, and we'll just keep going and see how much more we can get. All right. Okay. Okay, so that's that. So we raised our stop. Now these are newer positions, so you're going to see an increase. We started with 8% on these positions here. As we go, we'll just raise them as we can. All right. So we're going to point that out. CRE added, now it's on our long-term list, and that's where it'll stay. So if you had the opportunity today, and here I always show I don't mind showing, especially when people don't, just so you know that I'm playing the same things. You have opportunity to reduce your positions down. Now we have only a quarter of it left. Okay. Now you might trade more shares than I do, but I'll just show you. Now going forward, see the last three positions we still have full positions on. I'm sorry, last four we still have full positions on, and we're not doing anything else to it. BTU, we're down to a quarter, right? See how GIS, we're down as well, and so that's how we do it. I like to use a spreadsheet though because it puts the percentage there so we know what we have. GIS, by the way, did poke to new highs today. It just didn't close above those new highs. We know about the resistance overhead, and we got to fight through it. 4106, I believe we were up above that. No, the alarm went off for me early. All right, so we're still working on that. All looks good on this one. We've got good volume on the way up, low volume on the quiet days. Gotta love that. We'll move on to these real quick. Let's just get a quick update. Remember, this is not real on my chart. It might be, maybe your charts have fixed it, but we hit 22. NWL, our first target is 22. This didn't actually hit it the other day. So we're still waiting on our first target for NWL to take 3/4 of the position off. And maybe we'll get that in the next couple days. We have 2136 today. It's been quiet. The good news is on any move down, if you look on your lower time frames, if you like doing that, very low volume. So it's always a good sign. We'll see if we can continue to get up to there. SLB and CAMP. SLB and CAM are oil service names that we're looking at. All right. We got our logo play. This is a new play for us. You can hopefully see it plain as day there. You see it right there. Got our first logo play after having 3 popular strategies trigger. Now what we do is first get it to close over the 50-day. Right? That will attract a whole different group of investors. Second, we wait for future logo plays to start reducing risk. So at the moment, we don't have either of those. We're still kind of fresh, brand new into the position. So we're not going to overanalyze it. We're not going to look at it and go crazy trying to reduce risk now. If we can shave a little bit off, that's fine. But don't drive yourself nuts. Just let it develop. Let's see what we can get out of it. I'm going to jump to CAM because that one's in the same sector, so we can get a look at that. Same deal. We get it to close above the 50-day. Okay, we can reduce risk a little bit. We start seeing further logo plays, then we can do the same. Right? So these two are brand new. We're still getting those to develop. Got a couple bucks in each one of them. We'll see what we get going forward. Which leaves us to PKI. Right, PKI is still trying to make it over the high. A couple quiet days here. A little bit extra volume today. I'd really like to see that. But we'll see. Best case scenario, we get a base up here for, even if it takes a couple weeks, we get a nice little base here, and everything catches up, everything adjusts, and then we burst off over the highs. Remember, this is a pretty light one, so it's not, it's not the fastest mover. Doesn't always do a lot of volume, so we'll try to stay patient there. All right, moving forward to new ideas. A couple sectors we're going to look at. The SMH. Right. The first thing we want to do, we want to look at the sector. Do we have more than two or more market strategies triggering on the weekly chart of that sector? So for the SMH, we do. For most sectors, we do. We have price support. Right, we're just coming off of it here. We have long-term indicator players trying to buy this up here. All right, and so we're doing okay. We don't have a Fibonacci players because it retraced the whole way, so we can't say that. But we do have two strategies there. And so what we want to do is just have a little list of symbols in the semiconductor space there. And some of the ones I picked out were Texas Instruments, TXN. It's one of the stronger ones. Actually, Maxim was one of the stronger ones there. Okay, we don't have anything to do with it just yet, right? We're waiting on it. It's in this little base, little range here on the weekly chart. We want to see that we either pull back into some price support, like we did here in the past. We just kind of came off of it, actually. We want to see the long-term indicator players either start to buy this, right, or sell it, and then we'll wait till it gets down here. And we're not going to have Fibonacci players, so we've got that one. Again, we're just building a little list. TXN I just mentioned a second ago. This could go a couple different ways. We just came off of this little support area and Fibonacci pullback. Just got to have a little patience, see if it's something we're interested in. I always kind of go to this one first because if you see my list here, Intel, it's called Taiwan Semiconductor, and Texas Instruments, they're the top. These rank the top three. And actually Intel and Taiwan Semiconductors, these are the top, something ridiculous, like the top 30%. Actually, I'll show you guys in a minute. One of the questions was how to further review ETFs. So I'll talk about that in a second. But just a couple names, right? Just to let you know, so it doesn't come out of nowhere. I'm watching that. I'm watching LLTC. Okay. See how the weekly chart's pulling back to the Fibonacci area. Okay, we got our long-term indicator players starting to take notice. We do have a logo play here recently. We'll see what happens going forward. Now, here's a question. If you know the sector is setting up to the long side, right? Can you do this? Right? Let's say next couple of days you get a logo play. Could you buy that? Right? So the answer definitely is yes. Right? You could do that. We do have two market strategies triggering there, and you could do that. For me, I'd be a little bit cautious about doing it until, or unless I should say, the market goes over that little downtrend line we just talked about. If they do it together, sure, right? But I'm not going to make it official and say, it's an entry over, the close here, which would be, is that just 10 cents away? What are we looking at here? Yeah, really, it's just 10 cents away, so it doesn't seem like this is a very fast mover. That's okay. And then the last one is all this will not that you have to refer back to our gold trades back in June. We picked two of the stronger names, and then we picked one really weak one. Remember, it was ABX was the weakest in the sector. ONNN is one of those weak ones. And so it's coming off the bottom here, and you actually just you wait for it to come off the bottom, pull back, and then we'll see if we get a logo play there. So it's not really what we normally look for. Now in the agriculture sector, I got a couple names. Let me go through and show you. I want to just kind of pound this in there as much as possible. Something really easy to spot. We have potash. See, we have price support and long-term indicators. Yeah. So we have two of them here, but we don't have any real logo play. We actually kind of got a flat line here over the past 4 days, huh? So what you do is just put it on a little side list. Don't chase it and get excited. Just wait for it to make its move up, pull back, maybe float around again a little bit, and then go, right? So you can see how early we are, right? But we know that this is a weekly chart, and we have two popular market strategies. Look what happened last time. We had the same thing. So we know we're close. And since this is a weekly chart, some days are going to go by, right? You're going to have to see a green day and a couple quiet days, and then a couple green days, and a couple quiet days. So you get the idea. But it's just a small list. And now I'll keep this list off to the side, and I'll just, every day, just doop, 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 doop. I'll go through. I know that the weekly chart's ready to go. I'm just waiting for a good opportunity to buy. You know? So that's one of them, popular one. Deer is another one. Okay. Now we have, oh, here, check this out. So we have our price support on a weekly chart. So that's pulled back right into price support. That's also Fibonacci pullback. You put your Fibonacci lines right in there. Okay. But we don't have our long-term indicator. Not a problem. Remember, as long as we have two or more, that's fine. So we've got two of them here on this DE. And we may, again, I would only do this with the market breaking that downtrend line. We might have, oops, I messed it up, a logo play, right? It's a good possibility. So now, where would you buy? Ellie, you here? Ellie's here. Okay. So Ellie, you would buy this now, and I'm going to go to that. I'm going to go to SIG here in just a second. You would buy this if, see the close, so I can't move my cursor because I'll do it like this. So I'm going to put my cursor down and you look right here. If I move my cursor, it won't work. Okay, so we have what looks to be a logo play here, right? All we need is this part to happen, okay? Now, what's the matter with my, let me just do this real quick. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you go to the middle part of that logo and go look at the blue box I just made. And on the second line there, we have the O, and this is 84.24, and then C, that's the closing price, 84.40. So if you wanted to do this logo play here, right, going forward, actually, what do I got here? Day 26, 27. Okay, so if you wanted to do this, it's actually 84.46. I have my cursor on the wrong spot. So you'd want it to go over that. So basically just say anything over 84.50. Anytime I see that, I'm just going to post 84.50. Okay, so you could do that. And that'd be a logo play with two other market participants. However, if tomorrow, which got a little tail there, if tomorrow it starts doing this, that's fine. Right? You might be a little bit early. The entry price will stay the same because see how the logo will set up the same. It doesn't matter if it pulls back for 2 or 3 days as long as it doesn't make a new low, which would be here. So what low would that be? Let's just get the price. The low is say $82. Okay? So it can float around between our trigger price, $84.50, and our low, oops, sorry, 82, and we're fine. Now, if it does that, let's say tomorrow's red and the next day's red, you're going to see this. this big pullback. Still fine. You wait for it to do it. Okay. So technically, that is something that could be played. I'm going to give it a few days. Right, let it pull back. Again, I just hate to buy stuff right here at what looks like it could be a temporary high in the market. So I don't want to make any specific recommendations. Now, Ellie saw and is actually in this SIG play, SIG. Now going back, we actually pointed it out and said, okay, we're going to have an entry here. Oh, let me get my little cursor back. Okay, so we actually said, okay, well, we have a possible logo play, and it was right here. Right? Now, in order for us to take it, we said we need to see this part right here. That'd be great, right? So okay, well, hey, if it does that, let's get in. But to be specific, we need to have a price. So we come over here and we'd say, okay, the closing price is 53.14, right? And so you go, okay, anything over that triggers a logo play. Now, some things you can do, you can do that right there at that logo play. A lot of times what you're going to see is kind of similar to this one. You've got a downtrend, right? And when you break that downtrend, that's a good place to get in as well. Well, if you back up, this was the 19th. What day was that? The 9th. That tail's not real. Okay. If you back up here, you go, okay, well, if we do get up and above that, this is kind of a bad example, then we'll use that number. So we chose to use 53.50, I think was the, 53.50 was the number. So while we're waiting for the logo play, that's 53.50 is fine, but remember, if it makes a new low, that even if it does shoot back up, we're going to get the wrong W, because in the Trading Wings logo, we've got the higher low on the right side, not the left, not a lower low, sorry. So once it does that, just like that prior play we were talking about, you got to walk away and say, okay, well, I don't see it. Right? We made the new low a couple days later. Not a problem. We don't give up on it. You're just going to want to say, well, let me come back and see if I get one. So when you brought it up, Ellie brought it up, said, hey, it went to 53.50. I did buy it. We said, okay, well, not a problem. Here's why we change our mind temporarily and look for another logo play, is because we just didn't get one. But actually what happened here for Ellie was, look, right? We just talked about this last night. They said, well, not a problem. It looks like you might have a logo play coming into today. And they had some earnings release, and this is not a very popular symbol, so I wouldn't worry too much about holding it during earnings. And SIG had a great day today. And so we got another logo play. So I would say, yep, there it is. We did not get it where I was hoping to get it. After a few days, a little bit of patience, then we get it. So now you're in good shape. And again, this is the same as that NWL. It didn't do this all in one day, so don't be scared of that. Okay. And then, like I said in the email, Ellie, the earnings after hours, you just had like 2 people, or one. Maybe it was 1 order, but 2 broken up into 2 chunks. It was 300 shares total. Not a big deal. So nice job on that one. A good, almost, 3% in one day. Very cool. Now going forward, so Ellie's in this play. Says, okay, well, I was patient. I waited. I now see the logo play. Now going forward, once we get over the high, which is really here, don't just count this out. The real high is like over 55 something here. Once we get over that, fine. Every time you see another pullback, another W in there, then you say, okay, I'm going to start reducing risk. Now I'm going to bring my stop up. I'm going to hide under the 50-day now. Okay, keep me posted. If you're in it, I'll work with you. I personally don't have it, but I'll keep working with you, and we'll say, okay, now see you got another logo play. You can hide behind here, keep walking it up, and then have your targets in mind. Say 8%, 10% or something, which at this pace, you'd be just fine. But keep walking it up, and then I'll show you on the plays we're doing. We'll follow along with that one, and then we'll get you hooked into another one that we're doing. Okay, sweet. I think I got. One other question. James couldn't be here tonight, but this is for you because it's recorded, so he's checking us out later. Wanted to know about percentage, about how much to risk on each play. Oh, the blue line, Ellie, is, so the blue is the individual stock. So this is SIG, right? So you got SIG here in blue. The market is in maroon. So maroon and market both have M. That's how I remember it. So this is my just an overlay. I suppose I could take out the market, but then it wouldn't let me do it. I'd have to make. Oh, I know I could do it. Anyways, so that's what that is. Yeah. So for James, I wanted to know how much do you risk on each play, and we keep it very simple because we can have quite a few positions open. Usually it won't be any more than 20. I personally that's a nice number for me. But we'll take 5% to start the position. You don't have to do this. You could do whatever you want. But I like to take 5% of the account, right, and put that down on one play. So technically you could have 20 open positions and be fully invested, all, in the market. You want to be careful about when you do that. But then going forward, let's say you had 9 open positions, right, and you got 5% on each one. Just like we have here. So we got a couple that have already hit targets. So we've taken 3/4 off the table, right? And we do that for 2 reasons. One is for the guy that's more active. That's like, all right, come on, let's trade. And the other is for the long-term person that says, well, look, I'm cool with waiting for a bigger target, but not with the entire chunk of money. I do want to move on to something better because I can always add it back if it just gets to be that good of a play, right? So maybe 1 out of 10 plays is going to turn into an, oh my goodness, it's still going, it's still going, it's still going. You can always add back. When you hit that first target and you get 11, 12, 13%, whatever your goal is, it's nice to take most of that money and put it in the bank. If it turns out that the stock, let's say CRE, say it turns out pulls back here, after a couple weeks just skyrockets, we get another logo play. Well, great. We'll dive back in with some more and milk it as much as possible. So very nice there. Now, here you go. Why do we pick this is our first target on CRE? So we take 3/4 of our position off at our first target, which is basically everything, right? It's a big chunk. Why do we pick it? Well, we pick it when we're going to have 2 or more of those same market strategies triggering selling or profit taking. So, for example, we're talking about we're looking at we're looking at the market, right? So we're looking at the market. It has 2, maybe 3 of those popular market strategies. Okay, so that's the way we get in. Why did we get out and start reducing our risk before? As you run up, we're hitting price resistance. We're hitting this part where the long-term indicator people that like to follow this, it's all overbought, so they don't want to buy anymore. And we start reducing our risk. When we get these 2 weeks here, we say, well, this is just kind of icing on the cake. We've already reduced our risk, raised our stops, and now we can just raise them even further, right? So as the market rallies back up, it's not going to, look how long this took from here to here. It was, 4 or 5 months. So as the market rallies back up, when we get up to here, there's going to be people that sell when they get up here, right? Because what happened here? These 2 bars represented all new highs, right? We just broke out to new yearly, multi-year highs. So there's a huge amount of people that got suckered into that, and they're in the hole, or were in the hole. They're working their way out of it. So as they get back up here, you're going to see those people sell. That's price resistance. This indicator will slowly, these week by week. This thing will just go up, 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 up. It'll be overbought, right? And so we'll put those 2 things together. Now take a look at CRE. where are we at on this one? I'm going to use dark blue. So we've hit some overhead price resistance, right? And we know that when we get there, we're going to see some selling. Right? Surely we're going to see some selling. And now we have our long-term indicator players. Uh-oh. Anybody that's sitting at home and sets a scanner to find, oversold and overbought, or looks at it themselves, they're not going to start buying this stock now. If this is their strategy, just to use these MACDs and stochastics and stuff, it's overbought. So they're going to stay away from it. So that's a lack of buyers. So now we have two strategies triggering profit taking or selling by the people that follow these strategies. So we want to make sure we get our money off the table too. Okay? And again, we sell on the way up. We're not going to sell and get scared as it pulls back. Don't do that. I forget where I read that. There's a book, some investing book somewhere along the way I read where someone says, you always take your profits on the way up. That makes sense. Less emotional. Okay, so that's CRE. So I just wanted to cover that because that's, it's important. All right. So, like I said, going forward, we've got our eyes on a couple symbols, a couple sectors. Okay, we went through some of those. I'm not opposed to continuing to look in the same sectors of the symbols that we have. We did really well with that CRE so fast. It makes me want to look there a little bit more, but I notice it kind of stands out. Some of the days the sector's down, CRE kept standing out, so people were really excited about that one, and good for us. We'll take it. We'll continue to watch our oil stocks. Like I said, we got a couple bucks in those. We'll see if that gets any better. We are waiting now. Like I said, we just don't want to be buying stocks at the height of the most recent bounce. So you got to be patient. Trust me, you can scan through a bunch of charts and go, wow, there's quite a bit of opportunity here. But just be patient. Let it pull back, right? And then don't get mad on these. Don't short this pullback, right? Just sit back and let it happen. If it doesn't happen, like I said, they got a couple names there that if the market gaps up or blasts off one day and takes out this downtrend, go for those logo plays. Okay, but I'm not convinced that that's going to happen yet, so I'm not making any specific recommendations. Now, if we get a couple days down, if we finish the rest of the week slowly to the downside, fine. Think of all the names that are be pulling back after just going up, right? Think about what that'll look like on a line chart. Right, you get this big rally, you get a little bit of pullback, not a big deal, and then as you start headed back up, we're going to have those logo plays. And if it pulls back and keeps pulling back, right, we've reduced our risk as best we can, I think, right now. So we're in a pretty good position. We're light on the number of positions, and we've reduced our risk to reasonable areas without getting crazy and trying to tighten up. There's no reason at the moment it feels like we have to raise our stop as tight as possible. So overall, so far so good. Our three market strategies, we're getting them. They're getting the move. Everybody showed up to play. Now they just need a reason to keep playing. Get them to push a little bit further. All right? All right. I think I've covered everybody. I wanted to make sure to get James's question in there. Again, if you have a question and it comes up and it's in the middle of the night and you don't want to forget, you can send me an email, dustin@tradingwings.com. For those of you that are not here currently, couldn't make it, of course, these are always recorded. They do post late at night. You should be able to see it first thing tomorrow, as well as all the other videos from our prior classes. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Time. And if you have, you can ask questions in here. A couple people don't like to ask the questions or they can't make it, so I'll always address them in either I can email you back or I will address it in the class because it does help a lot of people. We've got quite a bit of new people coming in, so that I don't mind reviewing things a few times, no big deal. The more you say it, the easier it gets, the better you feel. And that was my weird saying of the night. I'm going to take my screen down, get this thing uploaded to the page. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a great rest of your day or evening to the folks over on the other side of the world. Take care of yourselves. Talk soon.